Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Thank you so much miskatonicbooks.com for sponsoring the show. I really appreciate it. Miskatonicbooks.com are your #1 international purveyor of difficult to find occult and esoteric books. If there's a book that's been out of print for a very long time, Miskatonic Books is the most likely place that you will find that book, and Miskatonic Books can also get hold of books from abroad for you. If there are books that have been published in Europe, for example, and you live in the US, then yeah, the shipping can be very expensive. So Miskatonic Books actually import those in bulk, and so then the shipping is much cheaper for you if you live within the US. So very cool stuff. Thank you so much, Miskatonic Books, for your support and for your sponsorship. And again, thank you so much for helping to change the mind of the author of one of these upcoming books, which we've been talking about recently, that had where the author was hoping to get a lot of artificial intelligence images in there, and yeah, working together with Miskatonic Books, we've managed to change the author's mind. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy that Miskatonic Books are upholding some high ethical standards around artificial intelligence, which is very cool. There we go. Let's move on to some news. Yeah, you can see that I posted a post quite recently that's got some people. Well, the post itself isn't making people angry, but rather the contents of the post, right? Yeah, do go and check that out. But for now, I just want to draw your attention, folks, to Anathema Publishing's latest post about the upcoming Semesilam Kickstarter project. Now, if you have been watching the show for the past few weeks, you'll know that José Gabriel Alegría Sabogal has got a really big upcoming project, which is going to be not published directly through Anathema Publishing, but published through a Kickstarter project. So Anathema Publishing, of course, are the ones publishing this, you know, with all their usual, bringing all their expertise and attention to detail and you know, care for high quality products and so on to the table. But it's going to be funded through Kickstarter because, well, of course, Anathema Publishing is a small family business. They're not a massive, you know, they're not Amazon. So it just, in order to be able to bring the nicest quality to the table, they're doing a Kickstarter. Those of you who don't know about Kickstarter, I'd like to hear from you. Would you leave a comment down below and say, hey, I've never I've never backed a Kickstarter, I'm not really sure how that works. And yeah, if enough of you are interested, then I could do a little section about that next week. But yeah, for now, just to point out that it seems that there are some very interesting people attached to the project. So apart from, of course, José Gabriel Alegría Sabogal and, of course, Gabriel Macauri of Anathema Publishing, who is going to be writing the afterword, it seems that Frater Acher is going to be writing the foreword, and the book is entirely typeset and laid out for Semesilam as it was for Iao by Joseph Uccello. Joseph Uccello is like the #1 best typesetter in the industry, and who has a keen appreciation for esoteric and occult topics, having himself released a couple of books. And we're keenly awaiting the 3rd book, Joseph. Just a little hint. I just got some more messages just last week asking if I knew when Oclith book #2. We've had 0 and 1. We're waiting for Oclith #2, right? The 3rd book. Yeah. So if you've got any news, please share with us, Joseph. We're really very anxious to know about this, but also very excited to know that you're the one who's going to be doing all the typesetting and layout for Semesilam, having done such an incredible job with Iao which is of course getting a paperback edition as long as the Kickstarter gets funded, right? So that is happening quite soon. I think it's 5th of March, if I remember correctly. And if you just hop over to the Kickstarter page and click the button that you'll see, because I've already clicked it, so you can't see it anymore. That says something like "Keep me updated," something along those lines. Then you'll just get an email when the project launches. There we go. All right, let's move on to news from Stephen Skinner. So Stephen Skinner has just released a new book, The Ancients Book of Magic, and he's released a list of chapters which looks very interesting, right? So it's actually a book that was originally written by Louis de Clermont. Don't really have much information about when this book was written or anything like this, but just that Stephen Skinner has edited it and published it as a paperback. So just want to say a couple of words about this, because looking at the price here, we're looking at $16 or £13, and I headed over to Amazon and I saw the 1 star, right? Just 1 rating. Of course, it's very fresh, it's very new. People haven't necessarily actually received their copy yet. But the one rating that was there was 1 star, and I was thinking, oh, it's probably some, Christian fundamentalist or whatever, fundamentalist from whatever religion, saying, hey, you shouldn't be publishing books on magic. But that's not the case. So if we just scroll down over here, we'll be able to see exactly what's going on. Very disappointed, says the author of this review, and yeah, it looks pretty bad. Like it looks it looks like Joseph Uccello should have had some look in here, right? It looks pretty bad. But then I received this message from a friend on Facebook, giving me a little bit more of a close-up, and you can actually see how bad this is. So yes, okay, so I don't know. I feel like maybe if you're going to be charging $13 or what is it? No, it was, what's the price? $16 or £13. We need to do better than this, Stephen Skinner. I mean, I have you can see that this is just actually photocopied, right? It's just a photocopy. I'm not sure that's okay. Once again, I'm finding myself torn, because Stephen Skinner, Dr. Stephen Skinner, is one of the greatest, most important figures in the occult world right now. Thanks to his work, we have access to so many fundamentally important texts, and his work is so important, and we all have such a debt of gratitude to his fantastic work. And then he does things like this, and I'm like, it's not okay. It's not okay. Anyway, hopefully you've been warned. Hopefully you get an idea of what you're getting into. Hopefully, I'm sure that if Dr. Skinner is interested in this book, then there must be some value in the book itself. But this isn't publishing. This isn't editing. This is just photocopying a book and putting it out for an extortionate price. I can't get behind this. I can't be okay with this. Okay, hopefully, well, what we do know actually is that Dr. Skinner's next book in his source works of Western magic, right? That's going to be very, very, very cool, right? So his a complete stegonographia, I think it is, by Trithemius, of which there was only 2 books translated so far in the English language, and now we're going to get the full 4 books. And yeah, this is essential. Do you see what I mean? I mean, essential work. We could not be. There would be no Foolish Fish without Dr. Skinner. But I can't be okay with this, right? And I'm not sure who can be okay with this. All right. So yeah, ups and downs. Here we go. Let's move on to news from Hexen Press. So Muses No More by Una Maria Blythe, or Blythe. And this looks really interesting. So this is by the same publisher who did The Poisoner's Guild. I don't know if you remember, I did a like one of those 2-minute videos on The Poisoner's Guild. Really, really nice compilation of books on the poison path, and I was very, very impressed. And this one is about portraits of occult women. So it's a meandering ghost train through the lives, works, politics and beliefs of both familiar and lesser known female occultists from the distant past to the 21st century, from the freedom fighting New Orleans Voudon Queen Marie Laveau to the witch next door personality of Sybil Leek. These biographical portraits bring light to women often sidelined in occult spaces and memory in favour of the white male heavyweights such as Arthur E. Waite, Aleister Crowley and Gerald Gardner. And I can completely sympathise with the way, for example, the so-called Rider-Waite tarot, which is really essentially the work of Pamela Coleman Smith, and yet it is most commonly named after its two male contributors, which it's bad, isn't it? Readers will discover that there's much more to Pamela Coleman Smith's magical undertakings than her illustrations for the Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck. So this is becoming more common to refer to this deck as the Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck, and that Doreen Valiente, while valiantly fighting for the modernization of Wicca, was an ardent follower of televised football. There we go. So yeah, it does seem like an interesting book. I'm all for this, and it looks like it's very beautifully produced. And if it's anywhere near as beautifully produced as the Poison Guild, then yeah, you're in good hands, folks. This is good stuff. There we go. All right, let's move on before I get demonetized there. The Red Tarot, a decolonial guide to divinatory literacy by Christopher Marmolejo. So Christopher's publisher, so Penguin Random House, reached out to me this week and asked me if I would like to receive a copy, and I said, I'm sorry, I've got a pile like this high of books that I have to review, but of course I'll talk about this in my news video. So this is it's a book that is usable with any tarot deck, from what I understand. Yeah, designed to be used with any deck. Red Tarot is a radical praxis and decolonized oracle that moves beyond self-help and divination to reclaim tarot for liberation, self-determination and collective healing. Now, I don't tend to go in for politics in my videos or at all online, at least publicly. But it does seem to me like there's not a huge amount in this kind of niche, and you know, I try to make the kinds, well, books. Well, I try to let you know about books of all kinds of different categories, and I think that there are probably many people who are going to be quite pleased to have something like this. Of course, if it's not to you, then as I very often say, just take a look at pretty much any other book on the tarot, right? So yeah, this is very clearly very much aimed at an LGBTQIA2S+, and it's Black, Indigenous and person of colour folks in particular. Presenting the tarot as a radical epistemology that shifts the authority of knowing into the hands of the people themselves. There we go. If that calls to you, then yeah, there's a nice looking book, especially for you. There we go. Good stuff. let's move on, folks, to the Time Changers Tarot, reading for yourself, your community, and your world with the Waite-Smith Tarot. I even dropped the rider there. This is a book. Thank you so much to Susanna Red Elves for pointing this one out to me. So this is a box set which comes with like a little miniature Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But what's particularly interesting about this is the 360-page guide that comes with it. That's the real reason why you might choose to pick this one up. A modern twist on the classic Waite-Smith Tarot. Come on, stay here. Was written up, to address the needs of the 21st century. There we go. So the Time Changers Tarot was written to help us navigate the times in which we're currently living. Each of us is a time changer, people who not only are living through changing times, but also see and affect how the time changes the landscape around us. This seems very empowering. It seems like a nice take. Those of you who are familiar with Caitlin Matthews' work will probably be very excited about this, right? The Time Changers Tarot offers practical ways of understanding the world. The 360-page guidebook will expand our predictions to become in tune with larger events in our community and the world, offer advice to become a responsive time changer during your lifespan and throughout the world, adapt to diverse social interactions, show how to be environmentally responsible, and show solutions to modern issues and how everyone can be part of them. There we go. Looks very cool. Good stuff. All right, and then there's this one also pointed out to me by Susanna. Thank you very much. The Cult of Mater Larvarum. So this seems very interesting. This is by Frater Orion. Indulge in the mesmerizing world of the Cult of Mater Larvarum, an extraordinary essay delving into the enigmatic necromancer cult centered around the elusive Italian divinity Mater Larvarum. Prepare yourself for an enthralling odyssey, guiding you through the evolution of gods, philosophies, and rituals from the ancient Etrurians to the majestic Romans, enigmatic Greeks, mystical Mexicans, and the mysterious lands of southern Italy, all intricately linked to the realm of the spirits. I'm particularly interested in the fact that this is available in 3 different formats. It is self-published, if I understand correctly. Yes, and at 144 pages. This is... yes, most likely print on demand. And for print on demand books, I tend to recommend the Kindle edition if it's available. But you'll know for yourselves if a print on demand book is good enough for you. And actually, the hardcover at $27 is very, is kind of a normal price for a print on demand book. So that's very cool. There we go. If that sounds interesting to you, I'll leave links down below, of course. And then finally, from Amazon, we've got this one, Meditation for Screen Addicts, after my meditation focused Saturday video that was, well, a surprising success, actually. This seemed kind of interesting and affordable at $3.50 by Geri Jacob. So yes, the idea is that this is a very short book, right? 50 pages, and actually it's there's only a few sentences per page. But the idea is that you are led through a meditation course with just an exercise a day kind of thing, right, for a little while, that always involves your phone somehow, right? You start off by visualizing your phone, visualize what you're scrolling through your phone and things like this. Yeah, it just seems interesting, right? It's a concept that I hadn't seen before. Very cool stuff. This broke my heart. So Scott Gosnell pointed this out to me. So AJNAR have or are in the process of publishing this facsimile of the Calendrier Magique. So the Calendrier Magique was published in, let's see, 896. So yeah, 1896. As this very tall book, this kind of Art Nouveau book, and it was originally printed as 777 copies. I don't know for sure. It has been, for the first time since its release, it's been reissued identically in 777 copies. And if you scroll down, unfortunately, it is sold out. There we go, right there. Actually, you don't need to scroll down. And but you do get a couple of pictures, and you'll be able to see what it actually looks like on the inside. And yeah, I missed out on that. It looks really beautiful. Looks really, really nice. So yeah, anyway, I think that if any of these make it onto the second-hand market, I'm guessing that they'll probably be a lot more expensive than, what is it, 136? That's around $30, right? I'm sure that, yeah, eventually you will be able to find them, but for a much, much higher price. That's the way it goes. All right, and yeah, this kind of caught my attention. It's a little Tibetan Buddhist pendant with a prayer wheel incorporated inside the pendant. I'd never seen that. I think it's kind of cute. Buddha stones, Tibet, Om Mani Padme Hum protection necklace, rotatable pendant. There we go. If that's of any interest to anyone, once again, I'll leave the links down below. I don't know. I expect that it's what do you call it? Reliable. I can't guarantee it, of course, but the at least the shop's name is related to the item, right? Which is not always the case with scams. This, I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's a scam. We've got 7 reviews. Let's check that out. Yeah, over a certain amount of time as well, so that's quite cool. Okay, actually a picture of someone wearing the one that she's received. There we go. All right. Okay. So yes, I'll leave links to that below if that's of any interest to you. And of course, by all means, go and have a look at the rest of the shop while you're there. Okay, and oh yes, one last thing that I found. No, it's not even quite the last thing. I guess I left this out. I just didn't put it in its place with all the other books, right? This is the Library of Esoterica, whom you probably know from their beautiful series of Taschen books. I guess there are 4 out already. The 5th one is currently being made, and it's called Sites of Power, I think it's called. Sacred Sites. There we go. Volume 5 coming soon. Well, they have put out a kind of well, they've collaborated. Of course, they're a branch of Taschen, but they've collaborated on this book, The 12 Steps, excuse me, which has been, well, it's the core of Alcoholics Anonymous, as you possibly know, and it's got a very strong spiritual aspect to it, and I think that having a book like this about the 12 steps, I think that's a lovely thing to do, and yes, I think that having the Library of Esoterica being behind that particular book is absolutely the right thing. It seems like they were at the PRS, the Philosophical Research Society, to launch the book. The PRS, the Philosophical Research Society, are the company behind Manly P. Hall's work. They're the custodians of Manly P. Hall's work. So that's yeah, that's really, really nice, and it looks like quite a beautiful edition. Very cool. And then finally, this is just a little talk. I think it's supposed to be quite academic, okay? So do be prepared for not an entertaining talk, but actually a very academic talk. I mean, if you've never attended an academic talk, then yeah, sure, I encourage you to go and check it out, and you'll probably not stay very long. But who knows? Maybe the speaker is going to make it very interesting. The erotic spells in the Demotic and Greek magical papyri. It sounds like the kind of thing that you might pay hundreds of dollars to attend, right? But this one is free. So that's really very cool indeed. A vast corpus of Demotic and Greek magical handbooks with collections of recipes, as well as activated texts and objects produced in the course of magical rituals, is preserved from Greco-Roman Egypt. Spells concerned with the field of sexuality and love form a major part of the categories represented in these sources, and that's absolutely accurate. Yeah. So I think that anyone interested in the PGM who isn't afraid of a little dryness in their presentations, I'm sure that you'll find out some very cool things in this. So yeah, so that's on February 27th. I expect that to be quite well attended. Good stuff. There we are, folks. Thank you ever so much for joining me once again for another video. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one conversation with me, the links for that are down below. You can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about, whether it's your spiritual path, or if you'd like some book recommendations for you in particular, given your specific experience and baggage and things like this. I'm sure I'll be able to find exactly the right book that's going to help you further on your spiritual path. Or if you'd like me to simply read your tarot, we can do that. Or if you've got a specific question, then we can ask the I Ching, and you know, all kinds of things. Basically an hour spent with me where you get to ask me anything you like, and I help whatever way I can. The links for that are down in the description. And it's also in the pinned comment down below. If you would like to support the channel, then of course the Patreon really is the best way to do that. Patreon subscribers get, well, different perks at different levels, but every single member gets access to the Discord, the Foolish Fish Discord channel, or server, should I say, which has got over 300 different topics that we discuss. It's got kind of weird rules that make sure that everything is kind of easy to access. Excuse me. Just unusual rules that make sure that everyone is kind of safe, and everyone can actually get to the information that they're after kind of quite easily. And what else? Yes, the level 3 members get involved in my daily planetary rituals. So I send blessings from various planetary spirits to the level 3 members who ask for those blessings, and then anyone from level 2 and up get like a reduction on black letter press books, and all kinds of lots of stuff. I encourage you to go and check out the Patreon page just to see what's on there. And yeah, I just want to say thank you, folks, for supporting me and for watching these videos and for commenting, and you know, and just being a wonderful part of my life and of each other's lives. It's very rewarding to be among you guys. So thank you very much indeed. I wish you all a fantastic weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you very soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.